All right, it says that I'm live, but I'm waiting till it shows up live over here before I get into it. So let me make sure this is working. I don't want to waste your time. Come on, show me alive. All right, let me do a sound check. Perfect. Man, my microphone sounds horrible. I need to work on that. I'm so sorry. I will try to talk very smoothly. So you just received a bunch of offers in today's market, and you're wondering what's the best way to present them to sellers, to portray to the seller the best possible way for the seller to get to closing, make the most amount of money, and with the least amount of hiccups along the way. Because just because you've got a contract in does not mean you're closed yet. So if you're looking for a video that goes over something like that, if you're looking for a video to listen in the background while you're reconciling your accounts and getting ready for taxes, or if you're looking for a video to listen to because you think my voice is amazing, hey, thank you. That's what this video is going to help you do. Be able to portray to the sellers the best possible offer out of the multitude of offers that they're receiving in today's market. So if that's what you're looking for, stick around. That's what this is about. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, if you've just landed on my Facebook page, my YouTube page, and you're like, who is this guy? Like, what does he do? Well, my name's Josh Barnett, and I'm a 14-year agent. I'm at eXp Realty, and I make videos that help agents get better, help team leaders get better, help brokers get better. I've been at a small boutique brokerage. I've been at a large independent brokerage. I've been at a franchise brokerage. I've had my own office, and now I'm at eXp. So 14 years of my mistakes can help you out as an agent, and I hope that you find value in it. If at the end of this video or any of my other videos you do find value, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And if you have questions about taking your business to the next level, call me, text me, email me. I'd love to be able to show you how eXp Realty has a solution to explode your business. And I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. It's crazy. It really does. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it for like 6 years. And then I make the move and I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But enough of that. Let's get in today's video. How to portray to the seller what the best offer is, what the best terms are for the seller's goals. Okay. So you put the house on the market Thursday. You took offers until, 5 o'clock on Sunday, or you took showings till 5 o'clock on Sunday, and then you took offers till 8 a.m. on Monday. However you set it up to get all your offers in, what I like to do is I build a Google Keep. And then on that Google Keep, I put line by line by line all the highlights of the contract. That way the seller can see on the Google Keep a column by column by column by column comparison of each of the main terms of the contract. So the first thing I do is I build that Google Keep and I share a link with the seller. So as offers come in, I forward the offer to the seller right away and I put a little reminder note, hey, the summary will be on the Google Keep this evening or in the morning when you wake up. Because I might be on appointments, I might be on training calls, I might be doing something, mentoring a new agent. I might not be able to update that spreadsheet, or my transaction coordinator might not be able to update that spreadsheet. Who's licensed until later on, but as in Oklahoma, we have to present the offers right away. So I always forward the offers and I say, hey, give me a call with any questions. I'll update the Google Keep later. So that's the first thing I do when helping sellers visualize, be able to see the contracts in a layman way, item by item. So the Google Keep. Item number 2, when you took that listing, took that listing consultation phone call, everything as a salesperson, you're listening, you're finding out what the why is, you're finding out what the desires are of sellers or buyers. But with that seller, if you are selling a retail property, fixed up, decluttered twice, cleaned twice, if you're selling it all nice and neat, then the offer that usually nets the seller the most, or closes around the right time, or gives the seller a lease back or anything like that, might be more beneficial than when you're selling a home cash as is. Because when you're selling a home cash as is, it's usually just the net. The net is usually the main thing. The seller doesn't want anything to do with it. They've washed their hands of it. Might be going through a probate. Might be in a situation where a relative has moved on to the next step in life and the home is vacant. So you have to pay attention to what the seller's desires are for the sale. So if the seller doesn't want to do the market, the retail style listing where they, mow and trim the yard, they do the entryway, they do the declutter, they do the background, they do all that. If that's not the style listing it is, you've got to be sure to relay to the seller which offer is as is, which offer is cash, which offer is a cash close or a quick close, which offer is a quick close. You want to make sure that seller is looking at the offers through the goal that's going to get them what they want that you've discussed in the original listing consultation. Now, people's ideas, people's thoughts are always changing. But if you've got a cash as is house where you know the exterior is going to need to be painted or else it's going to come up on an appraisal or something like that, you as a professional need to bring those things to the seller's attention. Because if one offer nets them 10 grand more, but it's going to cost them 15 grand just to get that extra 10 grand, that's a negative 5 grand. That's not a good deal for them. If one's a cash offer for 400,000, one's a cash offer for 450,000, but there's no way it's gonna. If you got a cash offer for 400,000, but you've got a loan offer for 450,000, but there's no way it's gonna appraise for 450,000. It's only gonna appraise for 380. Then the cash offer would be better. Does that make sense? So these are items that you, as a professional real estate agent, need to take into account on what the seller's goals were. And then on that spreadsheet, when you're laying everything out, then when you're calling them or doing a Zoom call and you're showing them the spreadsheet, you're going over the spreadsheet with them, you want to make sure that the seller is looking at the numbers, looking at every contract through the eyes that they originally wanted. They hired you as the professional. You're making a lot of money to help them with this transaction. Your brokerage is making a lot of money to help them with this transaction. Be the professional and remind them what their goals were and tell them the pros and cons of each offer. That's very, very important. So that's how you do the evaluation part of looking at the contracts. Okay. So, and then after you do that, and after the seller says which one they want to accept, or maybe they want to counter, who knows? But once they pick the one that they want to accept, don't just call it a day. Go over the next steps with them. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. Once we accept this contract, here are the things that are going to happen. Always, always, always foreshadow the next steps with your customers, whether it's sellers, whether it's buyers. So when a seller goes under contract, four main things are going to happen right away. You're going to go into title. And the title company is going to want all the info that the title companies want. So get that to them originally up front. If there's a dog in the backyard, tell the title company there's a dog in the backyard. Don't send the surveyor over there. Tell the seller that the surveyor and possibly the insurance agent are going to show up unannounced. Very, very frustrating that happens, but we all know that happens sometimes. You don't ever want anyone to show up, especially in Oklahoma, unannounced, because you don't want the person who's showing up unannounced to be in harm's way, and you don't want your seller to harm someone who shouldn't be there because they showed up unannounced. So prep your seller, let them know that the surveyor and possibly the insurance company is going to be coming by unannounced. If you tell the title company when you turn in the order to call you and get you in touch with the survey company, whichever one they're going to use, and you coordinate that as best as you can. You don't want people to show up at the houses unannounced. Tell the seller, hey, over the next X amount of days, the buyer has the right to do inspections. And sometimes, like if it's a last minute and you got to get a roofer over there or something like that, the roofer might show up unannounced, but a roofer doesn't need it in a home. They don't need it. They just need it on top of the home. But your home inspection, your termite inspection, your sewer scoping inspector guy, all those people are usually going to schedule the appointment before they show up. So you're going to have plenty of notice to work with that seller, but don't let the seller start, moving right away yet, because you got to get through the inspections and you don't want a bunch of boxes in the way of the inspections. And you want to prep your seller and let them know, hey, we're not done selling the house. Because the inspections is another big selling point during the house during the transaction, because the buyer might be there 2-3 hours. So you still want that house open, house ready. If you're selling it market, if it's an as-is deal, it doesn't matter so much. But if you're selling a market listing, you still want the house open, house ready during the inspection. That's when the buyer is going to be measuring the rooms. That's when the buyer is going to possibly be picking out rooms for the kiddos. That's when the buyer is really, really going to fall in love with the house. The inspection is a very, very important part of the sales process, of the closing process on getting that house to closing, and you want to prep that seller for it as a professional real estate agent. So you want to make sure to have that conversation after you get the contract signed and done. And then, so you got the inspection, you got the title company, you got the surveyors that we talked about. What was the other thing? Sometimes the insurance shows up. Oh, the appraisal. The appraisal. The appraiser, he doesn't care so much about the boxes. He's just making sure the house is there and it's not falling down and stuff like that. But you'll want to prep the seller too. We're going to have home inspections, a surveyor, a possible insurance company, and an appraiser come to the home, and those things are still going to be done. So as long as you're setting your seller up for success, as long as you're showing the seller, as long as you're foreshadowing the seller the next steps in the process, you're going to have a smoother transaction as you're going through that contract. So first one, when dealing with the contract for the seller as a listing agent, is picking the right contract. The second one is prepping that seller for the next steps in the contract. And then third is the closing. The closing is very important. Hold on a second. Yes, the communication. The third is the communication with the seller and the title company, the seller and the appraisal. You want to have good communication with all those items that we just talked about. And then the fourth one is the closing. Once the buyer's done the inspections and the seller has moved out in Oklahoma, it's a closing, funding, and possession state. So we fund and possess on the same day in Oklahoma. So I'm speaking about Oklahoma. If you're in another state, verify that with your sponsor. If I'm your sponsor, let me know and we'll go verify it with your broker. We'll get that figured out. But you want to ensure that the seller is moved out, vacated the property, and done a final clean before closing. The final clean is so important. It's another step in the sales process. And as a seller, you're constantly selling your home until you've closed and funded. And funded means you've gotten that check. So you want to prep the seller to have that together too. As a value add, as a listing agent, you already might have cleaning crews that go in and do that for your sellers after they've moved out. Just be sure to make sure the seller knows not to leave tons of garbage at the house and stuff like that. Always have expectations on the same level with any type of negotiations, any type of communication. So I hope you found value in this video today on how to help you as a successful listing agent to get your seller through the contract. First, evaluate and help the seller choose a contract that meets their goals to the best of their ability and the home and the style of home that they're selling. Number two is go over all the communication and all the inspections that are getting ready to happen and the process that is getting ready to happen through the selling process, and then making sure that closing and that final walkthrough are perfect for that buyer. Because as a seller, the buyer's the consumer, the buyer's the one bringing the check to closing. You got to keep selling your house. And as a listing agent, you just portray that to the seller. You keep the seller's expectations where they will need to be, and you're going to have a smooth transaction. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you found value in it, hit the thumbs up button. If you're ready to take your real estate career to that next level and you want to know everything that eXp Realty has to offer you, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. My upline and I, we are here to help you succeed in your real estate business. Have a great day. Now I'm going to randomly sit here for a little bit so that this video right here can pop up. Okay? And then also, I want you to hit the little subscribe button over here too, because that helps out the channel. Thanks so much, guys. And if you didn't like today's video, give it 2 thumbs down. See ya on the next clip.